One thing about sculpture as opposed to prints or paintings is that they're typically displayed outside, and so they have, and this goes back for a long time. I mean, clear back to ancient cultures, that there's that presence, that sort of omnipresence, if you will, that they're there for a very long time, and so they kind of sneak up on you. You don't notice them at first, and then you'll drive by. I do that. I'll forget they're there as I go up 18th Street for something, and I'll go, oh yeah. They change with the environment, and they interact with the environment, and they interact with you. You'll have a different opinion about them on different days. You'll forget they're there, and all of a sudden they're sort of a surprise, or they'll grow on you, or they'll not grow on you. Either way, because they're out in the public and they're there for long periods of time, it's a different kind of experience than when you have to go out and seek out like a painting or a print or something like that in a gallery. Gerald Clark, who was a sculpture professor here, was the one who initiated the idea, and he worked with the city and I think wrote the grant through the State Arts Council that helped fund that project. And as I understand it, was a matching grant. Most of the money did come from the state, with some from the city. But it was a fairly small amount for a sculpture of the size of the ones that are over there. Typically, sculptures of that size or that scale will go for about $40,000 or $50,000, and I think the budget for those was $2 to $3. So they were pretty affordable. I think, in fact, really a kind of a bargain for the city of Ada. And I think the idea was to give up-and-coming sculptors a chance to get a piece in the public and have a competition, and also help raise awareness or the aesthetic environment here in Ada. And I think it did all three fairly successfully.
When they still had Mayfest, they put all the maquettes out. Maquettes are just small models of the sculpture, and let the public vote on them. And mine was picked, and I had several months to finish it. So I worked on it over the summer up into October, I think, was the deadline for it to be finished, and installed it. And it was quite a process. It took me all summer to build it, and it's made from 16 gauge sheet metal, and I formed it and welded the metal and sanded and ground it, and I don't know, it was a fun process. I've still got some of the scars from it. I titled it The Greatest Generation, in honor, I guess, of the people from the World War II era. My parents, I grew up hearing stories, about the way that they lived during the Depression and World War II, and they had a lot to overcome and to deal with during their lives. Their lives were not easy, and I just think about the comparison of what they had to do to get by and what we have to do nowadays. We have pretty easy lives compared to that particular generation.
I think that there are some pieces out there that are really strong. Wayne's piece reminds me of Umberto Bucchieri, an Italian artist, a futurist, reminds me of that. I think that the concrete piece that Sherry Chandler did is kind of interesting, reminds me a little bit of Dubuffet. So there's some pretty strong pieces out there. I think the large ribbon piece that Harvey Hogue did is sort of fun too.
I think it speaks to people. They seem to appreciate it, the forms and the rusty finish of it, natural finish. Certain times of the day I've seen it when the sun hits the rusty metal and it just glows orange, and I don't know, it just appeals to me, so I assume it does to others also. I don't know, I suppose with all the mass production and sameness in society, that art provides a unique expression and individual idea, and others can, of course it's primarily the artist's concept and idea, but others can tune into that, and it can speak to people on an emotional level.
I think that visual arts have always reflected the general culture that produces them, and as our cultures become more complex, we don't have real isms anymore. We have individual artists, and that sort of reflects the democratization of and the diversity of our culture in this time, even in small towns like Ada. And so you go through the sculpture park, or the sculptures in the park, and you see a wide range of ideas and a wide range of images and a wide range of visions that reflect individual sculptors' ideas. Some are fairly minimal, some are pretty complex. And I think that's a touchstone to people. classically, when we think about like the sculptures from the Greeks or Romans, they were reflecting their time. I think these pieces reflect our time. And the sort of cacophony and diversity and the impact of 500 channels and the internet and people listening to Walkman and talking on the telephone and all that's part of who we are, and that's picked up and interpreted by these artists, and we see it on display. And there's an interaction between the pieces, I think, in the sculpture park that kind of is analogous to our experiences as people and in our culture today.